subconsciously, what happens? Well, the person that they've heard multiple times, possibly seen multiple times, and then now they see it on the page, they're going to click that person. They're not going to usually waste their time with other people until something down the road maybe causes that to happen. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Video Marketers Vault podcast. For those out there who do not know who I am, my name is Evan Andrews, and here on this podcast, we are using this platform to be able to show entrepreneurs, business owners out there, how they can effectively use video inside of their marketing strategies here in 2025 and even beyond. And if you are new here and aren't subscribed to this YouTube channel yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video just to start off so that you'll get hit with all of the next stuff that we're going to put out over the coming weeks, and just stay up to date with what it is that we're doing over here at the Video Marketers Vault podcast. Today, I have a special guest. I have done this kind of thing with Jim on his own platforms a couple of times in the past. There's a couple of times last year that we did it. And now I am giving him his opportunity to do it on my platform today. So, Jim, thank you for joining me today. How are you doing?
Evan, I am great. Thank you so much. By the way, I love your content. I follow you online. You have really grown a lot, and you offer such great, rich, golden nuggets to everybody.
I really appreciate that. But Jim, for the people out there who don't know you, from what I know about you, I know that you're considered kind of the radio pitchman, but expand a little bit on what that means and kind of what it is that you do here, you know, in 2025 with video content and your platform.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Back in 1984, when I was a kid, I started in the radio business, and I still do long form direct response radio programs in the home service space. So for HVAC companies, electricians, plumbers, roofers, and so forth, we talk about problems and make the phone ring by the listener, the consumer, to hire the HVAC company, the electrician, the plumber, and so forth. What's really cool, though, is we've been able to, with technology today, take the old-fashioned radio format and move it online into digital. So we have two products. As a matter of fact, I've got two of my little books here just to demonstrate the Radio Pitchman's podcast playbook. And then the other one is the radio, the direct response formula, which is for radio. And so we can do like either. If you want to be on the radio, we do that, which will make your phone ring today. The online version is more of an educational piece and credibility piece.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to be able to talk about product, services, you know, the why of the company, and put it out there on audio platforms and on video platforms. And there are just so many. And then there are SEO components to that as well. So old-fashioned analog and digital. I'm blessed I can do both. Thank goodness I started with radio so long ago, because it's really helped me in my online video career.
Yeah. It seems like it would be kind of like a natural segue for sure. So, I think that's really cool. So today, what we're going to be talking about, Jim, is we're talking about, community, right? And how doing what we do as the service providers that we are, how we're able to, one, build our own communities of people that, like you mentioned right at the beginning of this, like you watch my content, you love all my stuff, right? You're the ideal person that I want to join my community. But there's also people that I want to be able to service with what it is that I do. And I want those people to join my community, just like using radio and doing what you're doing now with video. You're trying to create your own tribe and your own community as well. And I thought this was really important because I don't necessarily think, and specifically with the people that you target as far as your ideal demo, right? They don't really look at building a community online. They are very much like, in the physical world, right? They want to have their clients that stick with them for a long time, but they don't ever really feel like that community does transfer to a digital product. But if you can give me some insight on kind of going back to your radio days and how that's transitioned, how have you seen community really thrive in what it is that you do and offer?
I mean, it's really interesting because for the longest time, since I started helping contractors get business from homeowners, I've really had two communities. I have two customers. I have the contractor, and they pay me to get their name out, either on broadcast radio
Mhm.
or on digital with video and so forth. But ultimately, their customer, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the homeowner, they consume the content that we build, whether it's on radio or online. So it's really interesting. I balance these two different communities where the homeowner trusts us, and also where the contractor gets business from that trusting homeowner. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I mean, to me, it sounds like it's the impactfulness of not only being heard, but seen at the same time. And
Yeah.
I think when you hit everybody from every angle,
Hmm.
right? And then, because what's the last part of the step usually? It's that somebody, okay, they hear him on the radio, they might see him scrolling
Yep.
one day, and
Yep.
then let's say when they have that problem, they go to where everybody usually goes, and they go to Google and they look for, and this is no fault to anybody else, they just Google, I need help
Hmm.
with this thing, right? And subconsciously, what happens? Well, the person that they've heard multiple times,
Yep.
possibly seen multiple times, and then now they see it on the page, they're going to click that person. They're not going to usually waste their time with other people until something down the road maybe causes that to happen. But I think having those two things work in tandem helps that ultimate click and then the ultimate call, kind of down the road from there, if somebody doesn't come from like the direct response radio right out of the gate, right?
Absolutely.
But for me, it's that tandem for sure, being seen and heard. And I probably should do more audio related stuff with what it
Mhm.
is that I do, but I'm the video guy, right? So I'm always going to put my heart and soul into making the video stuff work. But you mentioned, in kind of that, like, trust is like a huge component, right? Why do you think? Because I've heard this in so many pieces of content. Why do you think today, like, trust is at an all-time low?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. I'll tell you one thing, for better or for worse. And by the way, I'll preface this by saying I love AI technology, artificial intelligence. I use it every day. I even use it on radio. Not what you hear, but maybe how we prepare something. Like if we
Mhm.
need to prepare a 30-second radio commercial as part of the show, I'll have ChatGPT literally write me an exact 30-second spot on these 3 points, right? And so it's great. But one thing I found is, believe it or not, a lot of people are going back to radio and television to verify. So let me give you an example. You see President Trump on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, a post on Twitter or X, and he says, "We're being attacked by the Russians." Are we? Don't know. But I will tell you, at least my generation, we're going to go immediately to the radio and television to verify, because
Yeah.
we know that Fox, NBC, CBS, the radio stations will be authentic.
Yeah.
So some of the issues today is people don't trust stuff online in a general sense. And so I think that's going to be a problem going forward. So we try to, even though we use artificial intelligence on the background, or in the background, to make the audio sound better, to make the video sound better, to create text and
Of course.
closed captioning, and great stuff like that. But we want to make it sound and look authentic as best we can. Sometimes we'll even leave things. We used to edit out all the ums and ahs and stuff. We tend to leave a lot of that in now, because human nature suggests that we want to follow and
Yeah.
consume something that's real, even though we're amazed at this fake stuff. What's this stuff today with all these little babies talking, right?
I don't know. It's fun. I thought it was really funny the first time that I
Yeah,
saw it, but now it's just kind of like everybody does it, and it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay. I mean, that'll probably gone in 7 days, and then there'll be another thing, right?
But there's so many things that I could do today, apparently online, that I couldn't do before. For instance, you can see me and I can sound like Tom Cruise.
Right.
Okay. I can sing a Beatles song and sound like the Beatles. Well,
Yeah.
sort of. Sounds like me with the Beatles. And so things just aren't as authentic. And I think that's going to wear on us, and it's a problem. It already is. So my demographic, the homeowner demographic. So let me back up. My clients, the HVAC companies, the electricians, the plumbers, their ideal customer are not 25-year-olds. They're
Sure.
really not even 30-year-olds. These
Yeah.
are people who own a home. And so we go after 50-plus-year-olds. People are living longer and staying in their homes longer. So between the ages of 50 and 75, that demographic is a strong demographic.
Yeah.
Those people did not grow up with the internet.
Right.
Forget the new stuff. There was no internet. When
Right.
I was a kid, there was no, believe it, there was no internet. Our phones were screwed to the wall. We did not have mobile technology. It was just different. So it's hard to take that out of the DNA of someone who is 50 plus.
Right.
And it's just challenging today, I think, with all the technology, and it's moving quickly. I don't know if I'm answering your question
Yeah.
the way
No,
you wanted me to answer it,
no, you
but
totally are. I think,
okay.
I think that, because I've been doing what I've been doing in the online marketing space I'm in like year 5 of it, right?
Mhm.
And I have definitely seen behind the curtain of like what's legitimate and like what's not, right? And I think trying to show up as authentically as I can, um, may be, I might say, some of the things that don't propel me into some of the success areas. I could fake a lot of things, right? And then
Mhm.
maybe come up on a little bit of success, but that wouldn't be sustainable, right? I couldn't do that. But, when we talk about building trust, there's obviously a couple of things that you do within the service that you provide for your clients, right? The HVAC owners, the
Mhm.
roofers, the plumbers, all of those guys. Talk about a little bit of those either audio or video components and kind of what you kind of walk through. Like a lot of the things that I likely know is you do a lot of interview stuff,
Yeah.
right? But there's a lot of things that I do as well, like client testimonials, behind the scenes kind of content that really helps authenticate people, and we're not just these robots out here. But talk to me a little bit about what it is that you go through and why what you do for your clients is so impactful for them.
Yeah, that's a great question. So every time I'm either doing a radio show, broadcast radio over the airwaves, the old fashioned stuff, or the online version of it, I'm thinking radio. So let's fast forward to doing a segment online.
Okay.
I'll record, it's a recording like this, 5 to 6 minute segments. And it looks as though, if you're watching this and listening, that the guest, the HVAC expert, is on my radio show. So I don't pretend it's a video. I say, welcome to the Checka Pro radio show. And today I've got expert guest, Evan, and he is an electrician, HVAC guy, whatever. And we talk about his or her credentials. When you're on a radio show, and this isn't as true today for a younger demographic mindset, but remember, our target's 50 plus. Radio was a big deal. If you're on radio or TV and you're a 60-year-old, that's a big deal. That's like, because not everyone can get on the radio. And that's true today. That's a special place. Everyone can be online. That's a whole nother subject, right? So if you're on the radio or television, you have one of two things. Either you're important and or you have money.
Chip.
Right? Anyone can be online. So when we do the video part of the radio show, that demographic says to themselves, oh, okay, there's this guy, Jim Klauck, also known as Checka Pro Joe, who's obviously a radio show host because he presents himself as such. And he's interviewing a professional HVAC guy. This is credible versus, hey, this is Jim and I'm doing a podcast with Bubba here. And it's just another podcast. really it is a podcast / video thing I'm doing, but we're framing it as if there's a camera in the radio studio.
Right.
Behind me, you can't see the full thing, but there's an on-air light and so forth. And so the whole imagery is, hey, this is a radio show that happens to have been put online. It's like watching a segment online from Fox News. We see it all the time, right?
Yeah.
It's now on Facebook. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So it's that type of thing. And I think it's really important for the credibility factor.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that I think I have an advantage over people who have just gotten into videos and podcasting and online exposure because of where I came from.
Yeah.
I'm going to really go back a long time ago. Back when radio first came out, and radio is 105 years old right now. It's 105 years old.
Wow.
After it evolved and TV was coming in, people transitioned from radio to television. So they were on-air actors on the radio where you couldn't see them, and then they went into television and so forth. And it's kind of like that transition where I'm going from my broadcast career on radio where you couldn't see me, and now I'm going into online television. But to really answer your question, we frame it always as they're an expert. That contractor is an expert. We've asked them to come into the show. We put them on a pedestal and we say, thank you for coming in. I have a question that a listener has asked for you to answer. So now they're put on a pedestal. I'm just this guy who has this home improvement radio show,
Right.
and that contractor is special. Also, back in 2005, I started a company called Check-A-Pro, where we check out all contractors before they're listed on our website. So they're all pre-qualified contractors. We've checked their insurance, licenses, and references, and I repeat that during the program. So the listener and viewer get a feel for, oh, this is a credible company.
Yeah.
We take the video assets and we put it out all over the internet, whether it's YouTube or it's on Apple and it's on iHeartRadio and so forth, whether it's the full video or just audio, because some of these platforms do not support video. So we have it in audio and video, with backlinks going back from Apple, back from iHeart to that contractor's site. But also we have an embeddable player, a video player that they can put on the home page. So when people go to the electrician or the HVAC site, they'll see all of these videos, and we use a question system. So we always ask a question and then the contractor answers it. So for instance, the question could be, why should I have my HVAC system serviced twice a year? Why does my garage door sound like a freight train? These are frequently asked questions, and it's answered within 5 minutes on these short videos.
Yeah. No, yeah. FAQ videos are like a service that I offer. I don't obviously do them in the same exact format like you do. Like we intentionally like make the video for that particular reason. But one reason, and you can maybe expand on this a little bit before we kind of wrap up here. The reason that I love arenas like podcasting, video podcasting primarily, right? Because what I used to often struggle with was perfectionism, right? And I think a lot of reasons why like people in your demo or even other, service-based business owners out there don't take that leap into video and content and being on camera and all of that is because they suffer from this perfectionism mentality where they're not maybe assured of themselves or how it's going to look or anything like that. But I like arenas like this because it's definitely like way less pressure, right? Like on me and probably on you too right now. Like I have lights and cameras and all of this stuff, but we're just talking, right? We're just having a simple, plain conversation that we're able to then, I don't want to say manipulate, but repurpose, right? What comes out of that to be able to hit those major pain point arteries that their perspective, people are suffering from. But is that why you feel like the people that your demo, they thrive in what it is that you do for them because of that low pressure environment that it kind of affords them?
Well, we certainly make it easy on them, but also it's important that, and I tell all the guests on the program, all the contractors that, come on, to not worry about anything, and we want it to be authentic. So it's like reality TV. When I was young, everything was overly produced on television. They put laugh tracks in and so forth. And then it's been close to 30 years, 25 or so, when these reality shows came into play. And for you, Evan, it's been around ever since you can remember. But years ago, the only thing real was the news. But then they started putting cameras in people's homes and stuff, and put people on islands and all this stuff, and started doing rose ceremonies or whatever. And my point is people like real. So I tell my contractors, don't worry about being polished. I mean, try to sound as best you can with the best microphone, but the lighting's not too important, because you are the guy on the street, right? So when the news crew goes out to that accident on the street, it's raw. And they're interviewing the EMT, the cop, and the fireman, and the person who just got hit by the truck. They're still alive, thank God. And so, you know, there's blood, there's bandages, and there's sirens, and it's not quiet on the set, but it's real, right? So that's what people want, real.
Yeah, I think that's why Cops ran as long as it did, because of the format that it was.
Absolutely,
right?
It's raw.
Yeah. But in that wrap up there, you know, with my cop segue, the biggest thing that I think that I want anybody to leave, you know, maybe today, again, because we're talking about building a community, right? I think the only way that we can actually do that in the long run is with the consistency, right? Like, because I don't believe the service that you offer for your clients is like it's never a one and done thing, right? Like, sure, they can come in and do it once, right? But will it make that lasting impression for them? But talk to me a little bit, real briefly, on potentially why the clients that maybe work best, or you get the best results for, are the ones that do it over and over and over again.
Sure. So if someone wants to sign up with me, a home service company, 6 months, okay? And what we're going to do is every week we're going to put a video on your social media. Every month we're going to have a longer form version, and we're going to put it on all those it goes out to over 20 platforms. And then of course, you as the contractor, the home service guy or gal, you should be using it too. So we allow you to use those assets, but we really push it out there for you. And Evan, to your point, over and over, consistency. Personally, I'm trying to now, and you would think because I'm in the business, I would do this. I'm trying to upload one new video to YouTube every day. Now,
like a long form one, yeah?
No, actually, short or long.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to get my video numbers up.
Gotcha.
I put a lot more shorts on there than I do full length, but I'm actually doing quite well, because I forgot what the numbers are, but very, very few people add anything to their YouTube channel. I mean, YouTube, there's so many channels and most are abandoned. So, and to be consistent is hard, but I make it easy. Because I set times for them to come on, and we do it simply through Zoom, and we record over Zoom. We take all the content, and it only takes about an hour every quarter, because we get so much within that hour, and we can cut it up, repurpose it. We do so much with it. And, you know, a lot of people love the video part, but a lot of people like the SEO aspect, because we have a lot of SEO with it, and they want the credibility and they want the FAQ stuff. And so there's a lot of different reasons why our clients want to do what we do. But to answer your question, if you're not going to do it long-term, don't do it. If you're not going to stick to a new diet, don't start. If you're not going to stick to the gym, don't do it. You know, if you're not going to finish college, don't start and do one semester. Don't even bother. So be committed. And if you are, it's like anything else. You will lose the weight. You will gain muscle. You will get a degree, right? All these different things if you stick to it. And I'm kind of like a coach or a trainer. When you go to the gym and you go there 3 times a week to meet with the trainer for 45 minutes to an hour, it kind of keeps you on task. And that's one of the jobs. But something that a trainer can't do that we can do is just give us that 1 hour and we'll do all the rest. It'd be nice if you could just kind of close your body down and hand it over to someone, and you're all buff later.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It doesn't quite work. But we can actually work that magic with the audio and the video content.
I love it. I love it. Well, Jim, that's going to kind of wrap us up for today. For those out there that I'm going to put all of this obviously in the description and show notes here, but just let people know where they can find you if they need to reach you as fast as possible.
The easiest way is the radiopitchman.com. It's very simple. Just go to Google and type in the Radio Pitchman, or really easy, go to Google and type in Jim Klauck, Klauck. There's not many of us. I show up at the top.
I love it. I love it, Jim. So to just kind of summarize and recap, the biggest thing that's going to help any business out there kind of create an online community for themselves. Number one is you got to be in multiple places, right? Whether that's audio, video, anything, you got to be in multiple places. You can't rely on just running traffic from SEO or Google anymore. Like, it's just, you're not going to survive by just doing that one thing. And then the other main thing that I took away from our conversation today was just the consistency aspect. That consistency is going to build trust over the long run. And that's ultimately what we all want as business owners, is we want the clients that we work with to trust us, that we can do for them, that we promise. So until next week, everybody, my name is Evan Andrews. This is Jim Klauck, the Radio Pitchman. And we will see you guys in another episode. Thank you.